Hi guys, welcome back to Nothing TV. This is your host Ajay Gupta. Today I'll be comparing three budget handsets which have a lot in common, starting with Coolpad Note 3, Asus Zenfone 2 Laser, and Xiaomi Mi 4i. Hope this video helps you clear your doubts on which phone to opt for. So guys, if I talk about the display of these phones, you can see both Asus and Coolpad Note 3 have a 5.5-inch display while Mi 4i has a smaller 5-inch display. On the other hand, if I talk about the touch quality on all these three displays, it is good enough equivalently, and there is no distinction as such. So guys, if I talk about the display of these three phones, then you can see both Asus and Coolpad Note 3 have bigger 5.5-inch display, while the Mi 4i has a smaller 5-inch display. But the thing which works in favor of Mi 4i is that the amounts of pixels per inch are maximum on this 5-inch display, and it is a full HD display as compared to the HD displays of these two phones. Now, if I talk about the robustness of the display, then Asus takes the lead here because it got Corning Gorilla Glass 4 protection, which is missing from either of these phones. So this means that it is scratch proof and it can take up more amount of falls than these two devices. Mi 4i does come with Corning, it's come with Corning Glass, but that's not Corning Gorilla Glass 3 or 4, it's simple Corning Glass. So again, it is slightly robust, but not as robust as what we have on Zenfone 2 Laser. Moving ahead, if I talk about the looks and the build quality, Mi 4i is a unibody phone. It doesn't have the back that can be removed or the battery which can be popped out. And it's a unibody phone, but it feels slightly less robust and it's more prone to damage, so you will need a cover. Uh, Coolpad Note 3, that there's no unibody. I can remove this backplate. It doesn't feel so much robust, and it's all plastic again. Asus is also plastic, but is slightly heavier than these two phones, and it feels a bit more robust than these two phones. However, I'll advise a cover for Zenfone 2 Laser as well. If I talk about the premiumness, now considering all these three phones are budget phones, and if we want to say which phone looks more premium out of these three, then Coolpad Note 3 is the winner because it see what happens when I turn it off. It looks like we don't have any bezel at the side, which is not the case with Mi 4i or the Zenfone 2 Laser. So because of this white color on the top and bottom, it looks more premium, it looks more royal than these two devices. Moreover, there is this fingerprint sensor which these two devices lack, and this fingerprint sensor, my friends, works flawlessly. I have configured my finger and you can see it turned on. So that's how we can do it. We have double tap feature on both of these phones. I have not turned on the double tap on me for I. So I click this selfie in the same condition at the same time using these three gadgets. The end result is, first of all, all the three phones have 5 megapixel camera, and the end result is that the selfie came out good on all three. If we talk about the wide image or the lens capturing more amount of area and more amount of width as well as height, then you can see clearly because the distance at which the phones were held was same, and you can see Asus captured more amount of background rather than these two phones. However, if I talk about the natural color of the image and the vibrancy of the image, that was particularly more visible in Mi 4i. You can see the details are decent enough. These are not the best details, but the colors are really good, and the camera gave me a really nice front facing image. Coolpad did a decent job. However, the picture turns a bit grainy when I uh, zoomed in, and the picture went a bit soft in parts and grainy in parts. However, it cannot be termed a bad image. It is a really a good image. And if I talk about Zenfone 2 laser. So the image over here is decent enough, but Mi4i takes the lead over here in this selfie department. Coming to the rear camera, all three phones got a 13 megapixel rear camera. Now I clicked this really close-up shot of a plant leaf to check which camera performs well. Now, Asus gave me a decent result, and you can see this particular leaf is in focus while the background is not in focus, and I'm not too happy with the accuracy of the colors here. The image appears a bit dull. This dullness has been removed in Coolpad Note 3. The image is not dull, the colors are vibrant, but the image goes grainy. There's slight noise when I zoom in, so color problem is solved here. But when it comes to Mi4i, both the problems have been rectified, and it's a really nice, really good camera. On zooming in, I can see even the amount of dust on the leaf, and the colors are really good, lifelike, and simply impressive. Let me show you another image. In this image also, friends, Mi4i performs really well. The colors are really natural and vibrant. Coolpad and Zenfone Laser performed better than before because this was not a really close-up shot. And overall, you will be happy with the camera of Mi4i. It's the best camera, while Laser and Coolpad Note 3 are really close in terms of camera performance. Alright, so you can see Enter2 benchmark gives a score of 36,000 and a score of 36,000 to both Xiaomi Mi4i as well as Coolpad, because these two phones are having an octa-core processor, while the Zenfone 2 Laser has a quad-core processor, hence this score of 23,253. Basically, what does this score mean to you as a regular user? You can run all your apps, multiple apps at the same time, because there's 2 GB of RAM while Coolpad features 3 GB of RAM, so there's enough space in terms of RAM. And if I talk about opening multiple tabs in the browser, sending email, using apps like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, or sending performing other tasks, all this is smooth and flawless on all these phones in the OS, and is pretty stable, and user interface is easy to use. However, when it comes to gaming, light to moderate gaming can be done on all three devices. When it comes to heavy gaming, then Coolpad Note 3 and Mi4i will perform slightly better. Mi4i heats up a bit, so as the time you go on playing a game, it heats up, so the processor slows down a bit. Mi4i starts struggling, whereas Coolpad Note 3 doesn't heat up to that level. And in terms of gaming, I found it to be slightly better than Mi4i. The games could be played for longer duration with less amount of heating. Asus Zenfone 2 Laser, on the other hand, it will not heat up, and but its performance is limited when it comes to gaming, and you can play heavier games like Astrolaria 1 but at the medium graphics settings. Let me show you a multi-touch on all three devices, and I'll do the multi-touch test right now. 10-point multi-touch on Zenfone 2 Laser, 5-point multi-touch on Coolpad Note 3, and a 10-point multi-touch on the Mi4i. Now, a 5-point multi-touch is more than enough for most of your apps and games. Now, that most means 99% of your apps and games. Only 1% of games might require a 10-point multi-touch, and you are safe with 5-point multi-touch also. Additionally, Zenfone 2 Laser and Coolpad Note 3 have slot for micro SD card, and apps can be moved from internal storage to the micro SD card. While Mi4i is a unibody phone, there is no slot for inserting the micro SD card, and apps cannot be moved to SD card since you cannot insert the micro SD card in the first place. Another interesting similarity in these three devices is that all the three phones are dual SIM phones, uh, and the battery is also 3000 milliamp hour, while the battery compartment is sealed in both Mi4i and Coolpad Note 3. I can't move the battery of Zenfone 2 Laser, so that is a good thing. And If I talk about the battery backup or the battery uptime of the phones, then Mi4i and Zenfone 2 Laser provide me a decent battery backup. So with moderate usage, the phone lasts actually up to 1 day. And if you use it cleverly, then it can last beyond that time. But Coolpad Note 3 is slightly weak on the battery front. In spite of having a 3000 milliamp hour battery, the battery drains out slightly quickly than these two phones, and you will need to look for a charging port after you return from your job or in the evening. However, a cunning usage can see you throughout the day, but in the chances are that you will need to charge the battery during the night time or in the late evening. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you had your queries and your doubts solved. If you still have any query left, kindly hit the subscribe button below. I'll answer all that personally. And do keep watching the channel. Have a great day, guys.